All right, so I'm going to give this a shot. We're going to see how it goes. I'm a little bit worried that I'm going to be lagging and slow, but we'll see how everything works out. All right, so we're gonna walk through some different myths here tonight. I want to just remind everyone about a few different things. First, everyone's process is a little bit different. I have a video on my YouTube channel. I can share the link for that specific video in the comments. It's a video about learned helplessness, and I think it applies, especially this time of year in the recruiting process with a lot of athletes. It applies in the summer on June 20th too. Um, and so it is important to remember that plenty of athletes get recruited their senior year, their junior year. There's still lots of options out there for athletes, and so it's important that you stick with it. Okay. In this picture, actually, uh, committed late in her junior year, almost the start of her senior year. Okay. All timelines are a little bit different. Each school is going to have different timelines, different variables, different things that happen throughout the process. And so it's important to remember that while some athletes are committing early, some athletes commit in the summer, some athletes commit at the beginning of spring, some athletes get committed in the fall, like we're going to talk about. Um, Everyone's timeline is a little bit different. It's annoying, it's frustrating, it's all those things, but it is just part of the process. No one's journey is the same as someone else's exactly. There is something to keep in mind, though, when you do start late, quote unquote, your junior year, maybe even your senior year, it does limit the options that are available. That's just part of the process. There's only so many roster spots. There's only so many teams that you can go play. So, getting into the myths a little bit, the first one that I want, this idea that college coaches are going to find you, and this one is every year, every club season. This is something that I try to hit really hard with a lot of the families that we meet with. Most college coaches, most, not all, most college coaches, when they come to your court, they're there to watch one athlete on that court. Might not even be on your team. Okay. So the court that has 75 college coaches standing around it, that's great. It's good exposure for all 12 athletes that are on the court at any given time. Most of those college coaches are there watching one, maybe two athletes out of those 12. Okay. So just because you have a lot of coaches on your court doesn't mean they're there watching you. This idea of college coaches are going to find me is a very reactive, passive way to do recruiting. And it's something that I've been fighting really hard against for the last 7 years. But the idea is this that I tell families: what you're hoping happens is that the moment you do something amazing and awesome, that a college coach is going to be walking by your court, stop to tie your shoe, the coach stop to tie their shoe, sorry. Coach looks up and sees you do something amazing and go, "Oh, I'm going to recruit this kid." Okay. You're hoping that that happens. And statistically, there's just not a very good chance that that's going to happen for you, unfortunately. The other thing that I try to talk about is if you're relying on the social media algorithm, or if you're relying on your brand, or in the example before, if you're relying on your teammates to get you recruited, I just would encourage you not to do that. I would encourage you not to put all of that weight, not necessarily pressure, but just all that weight on one thing that's doing the recruiting passively. Okay. All of these platforms and things like that, social media, it's all passive recruiting, and we want to be proactive. Can it happen? Sure. But the likelihood of it happening is very, very small. Okay, so just real quick, in between all this, I do want to do a quick kind of ad and shout out to the All In community. Susan, Brett, myself, and Allison got together to create this community collaborative recruiting platform. And so when you join All In, you have 4 recruiting coordinators across the country, basically helping you and pouring into you and giving you advice and tips and resources to help you through your recruiting process. They have 4 full-time recruiting coordinators, really. And what you get out of the All In community is you get resources, downloads, video archive, community discussion. You can post questions on the community chat and we'll answer those typically within 24 hours, if not even faster. We do weekly live calls. All of those calls get recorded and then posted on our what we call our resources tab. And so you have access to that stuff. Even if you can't watch any of it live, you get access to all of our past videos and information that we've done, all of our Q&As and things like that. You get a monthly one-on-one call with one of the 4 recruiting coordinators. That's included in the price. And these are really, really beneficial to all the families. I've had several already this month with those families, and those have been really beneficial. Just getting them going, getting them on the right track, email help, phone call help, just whatever they need. You also get access to Productive Recruit, which is an awesome tool, similar to Sports Recruits, but just a better platform and a platform that's always changing and growing. And I tell people Sports Recruits hasn't changed what they're doing in the last 10 years. It's the same platform. They haven't made really any changes from what I can tell. And I have several clubs that work with Sports Recruits. Productive Recruit's a great product. We all use it individually for our own companies. And so it was easy to add it to All In. So you have a platform where you can research schools, look up schools, have contact information for college coaches, email, keep track of all of your phone calls, tasks, emails. It tracks your emails and things like that. And then you also get access to our needs list. We update our needs list publicly every 2 weeks, so twice a month, usually on the 1st and the 15th. And that needs list is something that you can only get in the All In community, so you can't get it someplace else. So Productive Recruit, like I said, you get a profile page, college search, integrated emails. So when you send emails out of Productive Recruit, it is emailing from your Gmail, basically, instead of from a Productive Recruit email. And that gets past a lot more of the filters, the college coach filters, than something emailing out of NCSA or Sports Recruits. And then you don't have that because college coaches, I ran into this several times in the last couple of weeks, college coaches are filtering those NCSA and Sports Recruits emails away into a folder and they never see them. Okay. That's a plug for All In. I'll share a link in the comments here in a little bit. The second myth, and all of these myths are fairly direct as far as these are right now myths that I hear all the time from families. Okay. I don't have any new film, and so I can't send emails. This is what I hear all the time. I don't have new film, so I haven't been able to send an email. I don't have new film, so I can't reach out to the school. You do not need new film to send an email. You don't. That's never been a thing. I have never said that in 7 years, but it is something that it's assumed almost. I don't have new film. I don't know what to send. I don't know what to talk about. And we have all sorts of resources and downloads on the All In page to kind of help you with what to talk about with all these college coaches when you don't have new film to send. And again, you do not have to have new film to send an email or to reach out to college coaches. Waiting is not something you really want to do. As you wait, other athletes are emailing these college coaches and they are getting ahead of you. Okay. Consistency is really important. This is a drum I hammer or I hit really, really hard consistently. I feel like consistency is important. College coaches need to see your name, need to see your film on their computer screens, on their phones as often as possible. Okay. If the best way to show interest is communicate consistently. Okay. Because what's going to happen is in November, after these seasons are over, these college coaching staffs are going to meet together and they're going to say, hey, recruiting for next year, we're going to have our season meetings. But let's get ahead. Let's contact some athletes. Like, let's start having some phone calls, getting schedules of specific athletes that we want to make sure we watch, right? All that kind of stuff. And what's going to happen is your name's going to come up and the assistant is going to say, well, she was really interested, but we haven't heard from her in a while. They go, oh, that's a bummer. She must not be interested anymore. Okay. And so one of the things that I have said repeatedly over the years is if you do not create the narrative for yourself, college coaches will create one for you and it's never in your favor. Okay. So that very situation, they don't ask, They don't reach out to you and say, hey, we haven't heard from you in a while. Are you still interested? What do? They just move on to the next athlete because there's too many athletes out there and they don't have to wait for you to reach out to them. Okay. They can just move on to someone else. And there's lots of reasons why you might not have new film, and that's okay. And maybe you are hurt. Maybe you're not playing. Maybe you're playing JV and you don't have access to Huddle or someone recording your film and stuff like that, right? There's lots of reasons why you don't have new film for the high school season. None of that matters. What matters is you reaching out to schools, communicating your interest. That's the most important part. So I hear this all the time. Recruiting doesn't happen in the fall, or things are quote unquote slower. That's relative. But this idea that recruiting doesn't happen in the fall is just false. Okay. We had an athlete last week, 2 different phone calls, all stemming from emails that we sent out. Okay. We have several athletes right now going on visits. Actually had an athlete do like 2 or 3 visits within 2 weeks, a couple weeks ago. So when you're not reaching out, when you assume the worst, right? You assume the negative, you're just missing out on opportunities. Okay. And again, we don't want to go another 2 months and have these college coaches. Well, she was emailing us and now she's not interested because you decided that nothing was going to happen for you in the fall. And again, that's just wrong. Okay. It's just false. Like I said, if it's not you, it's going to be someone else. The impact of the transfer portal is a real thing. There is this sort of invisible line that kind of each coach has a little bit differently on their calendar. And when they get to a certain point, they're done with 26s, they're done with 27s, and they're just going to wait and see what happens with the transfer portal. That is a thing. Okay. But that's also a thing that you don't have control over. But you do have control over you reaching out to coaches, you communicating, you showing interest. Okay. So those are the 3 kind of myths that I wanted to go over tonight. Not spending a ton of time on them, just wanted to hit them pretty quick. But if people had any questions, I'm more than happy to answer those. You see the messy bookshelves behind me. I will go ahead and put the all-in link in the chat if it actually loads. And then if you guys have more questions about that, please go check it out. Check out the link. Boom. Yeah, click on that if you have questions about the all-in stuff. I think it's a really, really good system. Lots of direct contact, direct communication through the chat, and then your meetings once a month. Tons of resources that we're always just kind of constantly pumping out for you guys on that platform. And just want to make sure you guys understand what's going on with the recruiting process, because it is a lot to manage and understand, and tools like Productive Recruit can be super helpful. So, but yeah, that's it. Hopefully I'm going to figure out more ways to do this kind of thing. I realized it was a little bit last second when I sent out all the invites, but here we go.